so raise your hand if you guys have seen a video of somebody coming up to a border security checkpoint and sort of like testing the officer that's there. So what I wanted to do is, first, it's Sunday. Let's take a day off of the doom and gloom that is our life now. But I wanted to empower people to understand what they are allowed to do at these checkpoints. I'm talking about the officers, and what your responsibilities are as a citizen or non-citizen, so that you know your rights, because they're expanding these checkpoints and eventually you probably are going to come up against one of them. All right, so just for clarification, the people working these checkpoints are CBP, Customs and Border Patrol, of course, the Division of Department of Homeland Security. Yes, the one run by ICE Barbie. They can set up these checkpoints 100 air miles, as in direct, okay? So if you go from any point on the coast, any coast, all the way, the entire perimeter of the United States, and then 100 air miles inland, direct miles, all right, they can set up a border security checkpoint. So it's not like it's just isolated to the super borders. You're talking about 100 miles off of any coast. That's considered a border zone. And under they're going to say, you'll hear the officer will say, well, under 287 of the INA, the Immigration and Nationality Act, that they have the authority to stop you. Now, this law does allow these CBP officers to board and search vessels, right? Whether that's aircraft, boat, whatever, 100 miles inland. So like think lakes, right? Rivers, stuff like that. But I'm principally talking about vehicles where people are driving and you see a checkpoint and they kind of wave you through. Like, hey, you need to stop. All right, so let's get the nasty business out of the way. It is because of a case, right? Supreme Court v. Martinez Fuerte in 1976. The Supreme Court said, yes, that CBP basically absolutely does have the right to stop people, that it is constitutional even without individualized suspicion, as long as the stops are minimally invasive. And that's the key point here. And they must focus on immigration. Just for clarification, they don't have the same power that, like, if you were coming through security or you were actually crossing the border, that's a completely different set of power that they have. Okay, so let's go through what it might look like, right? Just so everybody knows what to expect and then you know what to do. And I also have developed a one-page sheet. It's just a Word document. It's free. If you go here, this is my Substack, and then you'll find the link in the blog post. You want to go over there and download that, share it with a friend, print it out, keep it in your car just in case this happens to you. So the initial stop is you're going to get funneled into like a little lane, right? Like, oh, okay, everybody's being checked. Now, this is where you have to decide for yourself. Do you want to be combative or do you want to just get waved through? Okay, so if you want to just get waved through, the first question is going to be, are you a U.S. citizen? That's what they're going to ask you, all right? And if you say yes, more than likely they're just going to wave you through. The issue with that is a lot of people feel that they're encroaching upon, right, our rights to travel the road freely, all right? So if you just don't want any trouble with them, just if you're an American citizen, say yes. If you're not, show them your papers. They'll check, blah, 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 and then you'll be on your way, all right? But for a lot of people, they're not comfortable with that. They do want to push back against this encroachment. So for those people, this is how you handle it. And before I move on to that other thing, even if you say, yes to you're a U.S. citizen and you answer where you're born, they might move you into a secondary inspection zone. Don't freak out. And they are allowed to walk around your vehicle, shine lights in your car if it's dark, run a mirror up under your car, and even run a drug-sniffing dog around the exterior of your vehicle. All right? They are not allowed to do anything else. And while they're distracting you doing that, what's happening in the background is one of the other officers is running your plates to see if you're an American citizen. And then as soon as it says, oh, this person's an American citizen, they're going to wave you through. Okay, so again, they are allowed to stop you. They are allowed to ask you questions about your citizenship, but that's pretty much where it stops. They are allowed to look in your vehicle. They're allowed to look under your vehicle. And again, they're allowed to run a drug-sniffing dog around your vehicle. What they are not allowed to do is to go into your vehicle at all. You say, I do not consent to search. They are not allowed to go into your phone. Now, again, if you're crossing an actual border, they do have the right to search your phone. This is not the case here. So for me personally, if I'm coming up to one of these, I'm just going to shut my phone off, all right? And make sure that you turn the biometrics, your fingerprint and your face scanner, just turn it off, because, these people are out here just breaking the law. So just turn it off and then you don't have a problem. But they are not allowed to search your phone, period. And they are not allowed to rummage through your trunk or your bags or anything else unless they have serious suspicion, right, that there is an immigration violation here happening, or obviously a criminal violation. But it would have to be a high level of suspicion. They are not allowed to ask you anything about your politics, your religion, where you're coming from, where you're going. They can ask, but you don't have to say anything, all right? Now, if you're an American citizen, they can ask you for your ID. And you can show it to them like this, this is my ID. You don't have to hand it to them. It says that they are allowed to view it if you show it. does not say that you have to show it. Again, this all kind of depends on your level of comfort when you're dealing with these agents, because some people are just, they don't want the drama, and some people are like, yeah, I want to give these people a run for their money because I hate that they're encroaching on our rights. So if that's you, again, you can hold it like this. That's if you even decide to show it, which you do not have to do. And if they say, oh, can you hand it to me? No, you just hold it. Here, you can see. And FYI, no matter what you're told, you 100% are allowed to record what's happening in this interaction. And completely honestly, if you just really want to whatever, I mean, you don't have to say anything. You literally do not have to say a word. You don't even have to roll your window down. You can just sit there and be like, okay. They can run their little search on your plates, and then the second that they realize you're an American citizen, they have to set you free. And my personal favorite question is, am I free to go? And if the answer is yes, I'm going to leave. And if they say no, I'm going to say, cool, then I want a lawyer. Because the second that you tell me I'm detained, that means if I ask for a lawyer, I don't have to answer your questions anymore. And the truth is, they're not going to call a lawyer. What they're going to do is, try to flex on me while they're running my plate to see if I'm an American citizen. So you could just say, oh, am I free to go? Yes, drive away. Am I free to go? No, you're being detained. Okay. I invoke my right to remain silent, and I'm requesting an attorney. That's it. Just shut it down. If they ask if they can search your vehicle, no. I do not consent to a search. Just no. That goes for your phone, your personal effects inside the vehicle, your vehicle. No, just no. I don't consent. Now, if you are not a U.S. citizen and they ask you to show proof, you do have to show proof, okay? Because that's the law in this country. So show proof. Don't make a questionable situation worse. To recap, again, I do have that one-page document so that you don't have to remember this. You just print it out, stick it in your glove box. All right, but just quick recap. If you don't want the drama, you can just say, yes, I'm a U.S. citizen, and very likely they're just going to wave you through, all right? If they put you to a secondary checkpoint, you can show them your ID like this and let them look at it. Okay, cool. Yep, free to go. Get out of here. All right. Other than that, if you're not here for the noise, you can just remain completely silent. And in the background, again, what they're going to be doing is they're running your plates. They're trying to verify that you are a U.S. citizen, or they're using some kind of biometrics, right? Like scanning. So as soon as they verify that, it is the law that they must release you immediately. But I just wanted to clarify, because these guys you pull up there, and a lot of these, a lot of the CBP agents are pretty respectful, and then a lot of them are pricks, and they're like, oh, under 287G, I have the right to do da-da-da-da. Yeah, you have the right to question me. You have the right to do your job and verify my citizenship, and nothing more than that. So share this with a friend, because, guys, knowledge is power. And, we all feel like these people are just encroaching inch by inch. So that's why I wanted to cover it. Anyway, see you guys in the next one.